See down there?
Yeah.
Where you can see that roof?
Yeah.
No, so see the solar panels?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then the next house roof that you can see, that's Luke Skywalker.
What do you mean?
It's
the actor who played Luke Skywalker lives there?
No, it's actually Luke Skywalker. He's a real person.
Have you heard the term shamrock washing?
No.
It's supposedly like a British deep state conspiracy to like wash Irish history and like a lot of aesthetic stuff, like shamrocks and leprechauns, and like at the end of the rainbow, to kind of erase the legacy of the famine.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah, that's the truth. Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile that it came into enormous wealth by very mysterious circumstances and had connections across the globe to very, very powerful people. And he was murdered right before it was all about to blow up. And now there supposedly are no files that the American people can see to explain all of that.
I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, do I think that there's an actual list? No, I don't think that there's an actual list. I don't think that he was that stupid. But do I think that what they do have implicates him? Yeah, I think so. You know? Mm-hmm. I mean, Epstein introduced Melania to Trump. The connections are like so wide and deep. Anyway, why do we think they don't want the files released? I don't know. I think John, you know, that thing that John Heilman says is like a long time ago, I think is the most accurate kind of assessment of them, which is everything is projection or confession.
What do you think was in the files?
I don't know, man. There's a great clip from Daily Show.
Yeah.
And he does this whole thing on Occam's razor. He's like, let's step back for a moment and review the facts. And he goes through all of the associations that he has with Epstein. You know, not just the pictures, but Epstein himself, saying that Trump was his best friend for 10 years.
That was close to straight.
It is even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side.
We need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
They've convinced an entire segment of that cult into believing that, there is a cabal of elites, largely, Democrats, that are involved in an international, global sex trafficking ring of children, and that Epstein was at the center of it.
The people who are pulling the strings is the Italian Vatican. They actually are reptilian bloodlines from another planet. They're basically robots. And the evil people that are there, such as the Rothschilds, who suck blood out of children to get adrenochrome and stay young and beautiful forever, they pick them up and they take them to a submarine and go underground until they can get to Epstein Island, which is where they molest children.
How did you feel when you first saw them saying, nothing to worry about here? Epstein list is kind of just like a Democrat hoax. Stop talking about it.
All it is the Republicans, certain Republicans got duped by the Democrats, and they're following a Democrat playbook.
You either laugh or you cry. You know what I mean? And I mean, by the way, he's the only one who's saying that. I mean, the only one. Thought that they were going to get around the corner of this when Charlie Kirk kind of said, okay, I'm done talking about this.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration.
No, he obviously heard from his listeners, and within, I don't know, it seems like 14 hours, he was back on the air saying, no, I'm going to talk about this a lot.
I think I could be an explainer here because I think everyone's talking past each other a little bit. We do not care about the story as a way to hurt Donald Trump. In fact, it's the opposite. We love President Trump. We love what he's doing.
It just must be kind of a crazy, full circle moment for you, because for so many years, he's like, the laptop's got the secrets. And the Epstein kind of thing that he was like, one day I'm going to drop it. And you guys are going to see, man, I was right.
But the bottom line is the records are getting out.
And now, we're on the other end of it, and he's like, there's no list, and you guys should look more into Hunter again.
Yeah, exactly. Take a look at that.
Basic human rights.
Yeah.
So pretty much a couple weeks after our big interview. Trump and Pam Bondi had a press conference of some kind and were asked about the Epstein files, which they promised to release. And they said, no big deal, stop talking about this creep, nothing to see here, keep moving. But the question is, what was your first reaction when you saw that?
My first reaction, it's so predictable. Mm-hmm. It's the obvious conclusion to a conspiracy theory for which his base was so attached to and can remain so attached to. He now says that it's all a hoax, that the Epstein conspiracy was all a hoax. And he said to his followers, you're no supporter of mine if you continue to promote this hoax. And then says that it was conspiracy that was started by Obama and Biden to get him. If that's the case, is he saying that we Democrats had the ammunition, the conspiracy to deploy against Donald Trump in 2016, but we didn't use it. And then we had 4 years to do it while he was president. And then we had 4 years to use it when my dad was president of the United States. And then we didn't use it in the 2024 campaign against him either. We waited until he became president, took over the Department of Justice like no other president has in his lifetime, took over the FBI, and they report directly to the president for the first time in history, by the way. And now that they have the information, there's nothing to see. And it was all a hoax. But January 6th committee, they went through chapter and verse, all of the information about the 2020 election and whether it was stolen or not, and what happened on January 6th. But you know what? His entire base still believes, even though there is all the data and all the film, that it was still a bunch of peaceful people that walked into the Capitol, and any violence that occurred happened because of Antifa.
Antifa in MAGA hats.
In MAGA hats, yeah.
Do you feel that your time in prison changed your belief systems at all?
Like, regarding politics?
Yeah.
No.
But this one, I think, is different.
QAnon shaman is lashing out at the man who gave him a pardon. Chansley called the president a fraud.
Do you think that his choice to not release the files was because there's not much of interest on there, or because he's compromised in some capacity by what's in the files?
I don't know. I truly can only go by what other people are saying. And one of the things that I'm certain of is that the simplest explanation is almost always true. And what's the simplest explanation is that of anyone in power right now, his connections to Jeffrey Epstein are beyond a doubt that he and Epstein were very close friends for a very long period of time. They spent an enormous time together. They spent an enormous time together around young women, as in his own words.
Trump's got more pictures with Epstein than I do with my own grandma.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They spent an enormous time together. According to his biographer, is that Jeffrey Epstein introduced Melania. That's how Melania and the First Lady and the President met.
Really?
Yeah.
Epstein made the intro.
Yeah, according to Michael Wolff.
Yeah.
And so I only can go by what people are saying, and I don't know. He's directed his attorney general, because his attorney general, by his own account, doesn't do anything without his direction, okay? He directs the FBI, because his FBI director, by anyone's account, does not do anything without his direction. Nobody. Not one of his cabinet members, none of it happens inside cabinet now. There's no separation whatsoever between the Oval Office and the entire administration in terms of its leadership.
So you're saying he made the choice to shut it down?
Yeah. And every one of those people from all the leaks, and I can tell you from my own experience, having had to go through all that shit, is none of it stays confidential. It always leaks. And if there was a list and actual names, like there is a body of information in a wide-ranging investigation in which his name appears probably as much or more than anybody else, because they were together.
Yeah. So, do you think it was like a suicide? Epstein?
No. Nobody does. I mean, really, except for all of a sudden, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. Nobody thinks it was. Yeah. Is that you have that renowned doctor, a coroner, the different fractures in his neck and how it was impossible that he could have done that.
I really don't think that he's going to survive this. I don't think so. Because they leaned on...
By the way, so I should be asking you.
Yeah.
And the reason I should be asking you is because I don't know anybody that has spent more time actually in a non-ironic way talking to these people.
Right.
And trying to really figure out what makes them tick, where these conspiracies start. So, like, why do you believe that they're not going to give it up?
Just because if you really think about the MAGA cult, it was that, idea of a evil, demonic, pedophile cabal connected to Epstein and the Democrats that really galvanized them in a way that went beyond politics. The whole thing of like saving the children, the adrenochrome stuff, like all of that more fringe stuff, that powers the hearts of the boldest soldiers in the MAGA movement. Maybe there are people out there who just like Trump because he has strict border policy, or they like Trump because he's not into cancel culture and he says what he wants, and there's different reasons. But the true loyalists, the Kelly J. Patriots of the world, they're into the Epstein stuff. And so what I think they're going to do is they're going to say either Trump is compromised now by the deep state and we need a new figure to rally behind, or the only way I could see Trump getting out of this is if he said, I actually have the files, but I need the files so that I can continue to blackmail powerful people and make sure that we can get the America First agenda continuously in the doorway.
Remember what the laptop is, okay? The laptop to 90% of the people is this amorphous kind of like make of it what you will, like dream up whatever crime you want, and that's what the laptop represents to them. To that 10% that you're talking about, it's pedophilia.
Pictures of underage girls.
And then they just let that sit out there.
One thing they were able to exploit too is a widespread belief that to become successful, you have to first do something horrible, and that there is a crest of society that you can only access by doing something so horrific, like, drinking the blood out of a baby, that it makes it so you are just now beholden to the will of the elites, because in order to become one, you have to do something so horrible that you can be blackmailed into compliance for the rest of your life. Now, I know personally that that's not true. You can become successful without eating a kid. But it's really easy to convince people who don't know anyone who's successful or wealthy that it's sad, because you're preying on people with no class mobility and being like, you especially see it in the black community. Anytime a rapper gets a record deal, or there's sort of an assumption that like they did something gay. Not necessarily pedophilic, but just sort of gay. And so the Diddy thing was also kind of milked in that regard too.
Is that for real?
What?
What you just said about the rapper, is that a real thing? That's a real, I didn't know that.
Oh, like once you start getting that industry money, you got to go to those all-white Michael Rubin parties, and you got to do sort of weird gay stuff.
Oh, that's what Cat Williams is talking about when he's talking about that.
It's all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. All lies will be exposed.
The whole Epstein is the center point of exploiting that belief. See, all those powerful people that you love, those actors who are on the silver screen who are untouchable, you know how they got there, right? Epstein Island. And you know who's never been to Epstein Island? Us. We're the grassroots. We're for the people. Yeah. And so it's
and me. Just so you know, and me.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden. Yeah. You've never been to Epstein Island. No, I know they don't say that, but yeah.
Well, unpopular opinion, if there was no underage kids at Epstein Island,
nice place to go?
Yeah.
I can't believe you suckered me into saying that.
Well, I had a buddy, you've seen The Bear before, right? The show The Bear?
Yeah, of course.
So you know Matty Matheson, the kind of big guy who's the chef?
Oh, yeah.
His best friend was the private chef at Epstein Island.
No.
Yeah.
What does he say?
It's fucking awesome, aside from that shit. But he didn't know.
Yeah.